Welcome to Astro Breeze weekly transits, and I'd like to dive right in. But look at this chart. Look how close and packed all these things are. And now we'll start to see the moon break away and come close to the pack and go through that this week. So the moon this week, right now, today, I set this for earlier today so we can see the transition and kind of what's been going on. So coming off of Monday, the 29th, into Tuesday, the 30th, the moon has been finishing its travels through Capricorn. So, Capricorn ruled by Saturn, that's always more dour, more sour, more responsible, more duty-oriented, more structured on some levels, or trying to create some structure. But oftentimes it quickly gets undermined, especially when it has to cross over Pluto as it goes through Aquarius. So here's where we are today. I just wanted you to see this because the moon was making squares to all of these. As it passed 14 degrees, it squared the North Node, it squared Mercury, it squared Chiron, and now as it goes into Aquarius, it will square Venus, and then the Sun, and then Uranus and Jupiter. So, these are kind of tense things, and then it will be offline kind of as it's then making its way through here. It'll be conjuncting, all of these planets and that not doing much else. So really different moon dynamic, different feelings. You might be feeling different about things. It could be different for everybody, but I'm just going to say it's just maybe a different type of moon feeling because we're just making certain aspects and not others. As you see here, other than like the nodes, we don't have anything, other than the moon, we don't have any oppositions. We don't have any squares, other than the moon. And Venus now is going to square Pluto. We can see that. But then once Venus moves past there, we're not going to have a lot. Well, Mercury will then hit that, but not a lot of action. No trines, right? Except for the moon. I think we're past a lot of the sextiles, so not a lot of aspects between the planets right now. And this is very interesting. When people are born with these types of aspects, it's very interesting because they don't have a lot of the other aspects. They're just, a lot of conjunctions, maybe a stellium, maybe some sextiles or half squares, maybe, some aspects with the moon, or maybe one other planet that's out there like Pluto right now. But this is interesting. I've looked at lots and lots of charts with this. So if people don't have oppositions, there's often relationship issues. Let's put it that way. There's nobody to push against or to push off of. No squares. Maybe there's no drive. There's no nothing driving you, nothing exciting you so much. No trines. No good luck. No breaks. So you get a lot of that mixed in with life. I'm not saying never ever, but it's kind of like I would say it could be quiet on one level, depends on where that is, or it could be a hard energies. So anyway, that's kind of just a little bit about right now, and I want you to see how tight this is. And one more thing about this before I move on with aspects or the transits. Almost all these signs, well, all of these signs here, we're just going to ignore Pluto for the moment. It's so far out there anyway. Let's ignore it. And the moon is like fast moving. So we're just going to look at this grouping up here. And these are, all of these signs reside on the left side of the chart. What I mean by that is the 12th house is the natural house of Pisces. The first house is the natural house of Aries. Second house, natural house or overtones of Taurus. So we see that. So anything on this left side of the chart here has more to do with the self. Anything on the right side is more to do with others. Now, we can't see these, or we can't make this by house because we're looking at transits. If it were a birth date, this would be, like if somebody's born right now and we're looking at this person's natal chart, we could weigh planets on this side, planets on that side, yada yada. But my point is, the signs themselves are all on the left side of the chart. Okay, even Aquarius here. So if we had Aquarius would be the natural 11th house. Even the moon is right now naturally in the 10th house. I mean, the ruler of Capricorn is, or the Capricorn, let me say it this way, rules or naturally resides in the 10th house. So everything here is like on the me level. I'm looking out for me. I'm looking out for myself, but doesn't mean that way, because like today is all for me, all about everybody else, all about somebody else, all about that. But this energy, it's in and of itself, is more to do with you. So I was feeling slighted and off-put and exasperated and like felt undermined and all this stuff. But so that's how I was receiving these energies today. It was kind of an intense day for me. But I just want to point this out because this is going to be with us for a little while. Mars is quickly moving out of Pisces. You'll see. Jupiter won't, Neptune won't be out of here, and Saturn won't be out for like what, another 2 years or year and a half-ish, because Saturn's like halfway. So they move, I think we talked about this before, they move out of Pisces together into Aries, but that's still, all of this stuff is on this left side of the chart. Pluto just went into the sign, so it's going to be over on this side. Neptune is going to be, in Aries, it's starting on this side. All these outer planets, Uranus, it's in a sign for like 7 years, so it's like naturally in here, so it's going to be here for a little bit longer. So we're going to have this, for lack of a better word, selfish overtone of energy. And I thought I would just point that out because, as the personal planets break out of that and go into other signs, we move into summer and winter and everything, then we break out of that. But the outer planets are still going to be there. And in the springtime, or I should say in the wintertime, once we move into Capricorn, then it kind of locks up and we're into that self again. So what's the point? Well, things could be directed at you. You could feel off put. You could be out of sorts. You could focus on just yourself, not anyone else. So the emphasis is there. So I just wanted to point that out because it could be going one way or the other with you, based on your own energies and how these are aspecting your chart. But I thought that's very interesting that's like that. All right. So what else? Let me see. Let me just go here. What I wanted to, let me just go a little bit by hours. What I wanted to point out was we see here Venus just moved into Taurus. So it was yesterday, I guess, maybe the day before. I think it was yesterday. And went into her own sign. So that's nice. And then, she'll be, coming all the way across over here and going over these. So we can look forward to that because we know Venus moves faster than these outer planets. Mars is at the end of Pisces. And see, I wanted to put this was this morning. So I knew today was going to kind of be a suck day, or could be, because it's at that anaretic degree. It's at that degree that's just, and we know Pisces just gets to be expanding and moving out there and not paying attention and water, emotional mutability. So Mars does not like to be there. So there we go. At like almost noon today, East Coast time, it went into Aries. Whew. But Mars in its own sign is great, but Mars in Aries, it's as edgy. This is going to be edgy, and it's always edgy when it's here. All right, what else did I want to point out? So today, we've got the return of a couple of things sort of in order, but this is like, Venus, me, I get to be in my home sign. Mars, me, I get to be in my home sign. It's see how me-oriented some of these things are. And then Chiron, the wounded healer in Aries, Mercury just going direct, it will cross over that. So there'll be stories about how I'm wounded. or how I'm victimized. Watch the victimese, the victim, being a victim, listening to a victim, being trapped by other people trying to tell you how much of a victim they are. So this is all this kind of stuff coming up. All right, this is so nice to be forewarned about some of these things. Like I just diverted a conversation the other day. Some, you know how the people that go, you know, you're trying to go, okay, I gotta go now. And then they're like, oh, but you'll see me at the farmer's market and my dog. And you know, that one dog was like, and then the star fell. And then it's like, hey, look, I said I gotta go, you know. But these people, sometimes they just bounce from one to another and they have no, they're just about them and they're not regards for what you just said. So don't stand there for 30 minutes and get, you know, have to put up with that. Politely say, look, I'm sorry, I have to go. But this is what some of this energy is all about. Okay, I'm gonna move on from that. I've been beating that all way. Okay, so that's huge. That's kind of, today's a big day. And right now, we're between moons. Last week we had the full moon. Next week, you know, we're moving toward the new moon in Taurus, and that will be on our Tuesday. But this week we are, you know, experiencing the moon going through all those personal, you know, that sign. The moon, it technically is in the house of Aquarius, just moved into for 2.5 days, and then it'll be in the house of Pisces, and then the house of Aries, and then by the time next week, the new moon will be in the house of Taurus. So it's all on this left side. Me. Did I tell you all about me yet? Did I narcissize enough about me? That kind of energy. So not only do we have all the planets there, but we also have the moon moving there. So just a heads up. All right, so that's our week with the moon, and that's the feeling. So it's a lot of it will be directed toward yourself, and we really need to try to stay on our calm center and not be pulled. And it's inevitable. You will be pulled. You will be knocked off your rocker. You will be exasperated. You will be undermined. But how quickly can you get back on your calm, cool, collected, loving self-center? Okay. A little sip of coffee. All right, now we've got these the two lover planets where they like to be. So let's focus on the positive. This Mars and Aries will definitely give us more energy, give us more drive, more action, getting things done, which will be nice because Mercury is almost out of shadow. I think it's Sunday that it moves out of shadow. It's still moving kind of slow, but it's starting to pick up speed. So that will be really good. You know, when Mercury is out of shadow, that means where it was before it went retrograde. It like went all the way to 19 Aries, and then it went, hold on there, Pilgrim, you better come back, you got work to do. So, you know, Mercury's like, okay, moves all the way back, you know, to whatever it was, and then it goes direct, and then it has to go over that territory again, and then go on from where it was before it got called back. So that's its shadow period, and we're finishing up. So finish up stuff this week before Sunday. Mercury will then move, it leaves its shadow. So get all these loose ends tied, things that you committed to and don't want to, either finish them up and do them, or excuse yourself and say, look, I can't do this, or hire somebody or do something else, you know, to get that stuff cleared up, whatever it is. Because when it hits the new territory, you're going to want to play over there. You're going to want to go play in that sandbox and get out of this one. So that's kind of the gist of things coming. All right, on the mundane level, Venus, yay, hurry up, I got in my own sign, yay. But then as soon as she goes one more degree, she squares Pluto. It's like, crap, Dad's up, dang, I thought I snuck in. I thought I made it all cool and everything, but something like that. So, you know, it's, so this is kind of like, maybe you didn't think you were out of the woods in the depth yet. It's like you got to maybe go a little more deeper, a little more, you know, that squares suck. They suck. But Venus, so it's like she can't quite relax yet, but it's good that it's in the beginning of the sign to get it over with. So that's kind of like what it is. It's like, just get it done. Just do it and try not to bitch too much about it, or vent too hard. You know, give whatever obligation, responsibility, or something on a mental, emotional level back to anyone that's kind of putting those things in your life. And then anything that's yours, any crap that is yours that you know you need to do, then just like, okay, what's the positive purpose of this, and help me get through it faster. So that's, tough, kind of tough crap like this. But anyway, Venus will then get out of that energy. But that's tomorrow, May Day, May Day. It's really funny. I always kind of laugh about the beginning, the few days of May, you get to say certain things. So it's May Day, May Day. That energy's coming up, and that was like a distress call, and this year it's kind of the same. Then we'll get there. Don't let me forget. Then on Saturday there's when we're on May 4th. It's like, I love to say, may the 4th be with you. I say it now before I forget. I just think it's so funny. I don't know, but silly sense of humor. And then on Sunday, we have Cinco de Mayo. So it's just kind of some interesting days here. All right. So May Day, Wednesday. What else I want to tell you about here? I think that was a big thing. Okay, so now we have the moon breaking away. Moon had to go over Pluto too, and then it's in a good resonance now. Moving on. All right, going to Thursday. Now, if we hadn't enough with Pluto, now Pluto decides to get, it's like upset now, so it's going to go retrograde. Well, fine, nobody's going to play with me. I'm going to just walk away. I'm going to go on vacation for 6 months. So, Pluto is, long retrograde. It's like 5.5 months. So it does make a little forward gain, but it's slowed down. So the accelerator is off of that. But that it's going to go back into Capricorn. So it's just like its last little dip. It's got to clear up last little business in there, but this is going to be an interesting time when it does. I think we've already talked about it, and we'll talk about it again when it actually gets closer. But anyway, you can see that it's stationing, and it's going to go retrograde later that day. The moon here, however, the moon on Thursday, is it Thursday that goes into? Let's see. Yeah, it's going to go into Pisces, and then the moon will go over Saturn, it's like right in the middle there. So moon is 2.5 days. It's like a day and a quarter. So it'll be sometime on Friday. So moon, kind of in that rebellious stage now. It just went in today, Tuesday. It's going to be all day Wednesday and half a day Thursday. So you get a little bit of that rebellion, putting your own, nose up in the air a little bit. But anyway, just wanted you to see that one. Okay, so going to Friday. See here now, the moon's getting real close to Saturn. So Friday, moon feelings in Pisces going over Saturn in Pisces. This could be sad. This could be some sad stuff. It could be emotional. It could be compassionate. It could be really feeling something compassionate. So it kind of a mix depending on, your circumstances. But it's not the nicest place, but at least it's in Pisces rather than maybe some other places. I think Pisces kind of weakens Saturn, here because it wants structure, and this is dissolving. So it's kind of putting a little reins on Saturn, maybe not making it quite so harsh, make it maybe a little more compassionate. Okay, Friday. What else we have? Okay, then Mars. Okay, we have some other interesting angles here. So Mars at Aries doesn't mind being in sextile aspect to Pluto. They are, both in masculine signs. So, and then they're both malefic energy. So there may be, let's just put an undertow. Let's say there may be a Mars undertow. Let's try not to let it be anger, but let's try to put it into depth, into bringing up, doing your own shadow work. When we see things and we're triggered, it's really kind of the best to go, okay, what's going on for me? What triggered me? And how can I get past that and not be a victim of that? So this is like all week. The moon is also going to sextile the sun. Right here, it's already doing it, so we're having the sextile the other way. It's a feminine sextile. So this is nice, sun and moon, kind of an interesting energy. So we have the Mars and Pluto, then we got the Sun and the Moon sextile, and then we have the Moon going over Saturn. So, it's Friday could be an interesting day. Let's just say that way. All right, Saturday. May the 4th be with you. For sure. Okay. Well, I don't know. Let's just move this by the hour because I think for me the best thing is the moon moves into Aries. It's like gets out of this mushy Pisces, but look, it's going to go over Neptune, so we might get a little mushy, confused. Oh, and look, it's going to be like an East Coast time, kind of like late in the afternoon. Okay, there it is. Okay, so it goes over there, and then it quickly joins up with Mars. So it's almost like, God, I can't get away fast enough. Yeah. So that's interesting energy. So here we got Saturday, late in the day. Moon goes into Aries. So I think that will be like kind of a nice weekend. We had Sag Moon last weekend, and it was maybe a little bit more uptone. Maybe whatever dour kind of stuff can help to be brought uptone. Aries is always happy and fun, as well as aggressive and bossy and all that, but it's initiatory. And if it's not in combat, it likes to laugh and have fun. So hopefully the moon emotional feeling energy can be loosened up a little bit here. What else was Saturday? That was the big one. Yay! Aries. Sunday, Cinco de Mayo. Oops, we're back on the hours and go back over here. Hours, there we go. Sunday. Okay, so Sunday, Cinco de Mayo. Well, we got the moon, moving through Aries, and here we go. It's catching up to Mercury. So here's now where we get some forward-moving feelings and thoughts, or thoughts and feelings, or feelings and communications in Aries. Maybe you go ahead and do something. Maybe it's time to move forward with something. Maybe a nice change, a cool change, a change of energies, because I think it's going to be quite maudlin near the end of the week. So this might definitely lighten things up. So moon going over Mercury and then going over Chiron, maybe paying attention to some past wounds and releasing that. Moon, it's like moon had to go over North Node and then Mercury, and then, so it might be telling your story, moving toward your story, telling yourself your story, moving away from being wounded and taking on action to move forward and progress. Anything else in over here? No, not really. So you see how, look at us tight. It's still, this kind of one-sided. And then when the moon's over here, we don't have much going on out over here. There's nothing happening. It's just a strange thing. All right, and then that brings us over to Monday. Monday. Well, moon moves into Taurus. Here we go. So right away, it's gonna have to meet up with Pluto. And then what do you think? It's a fixed sign, and we know the Aquarius is fixed. So we go, oh, it's in a square. Okay, so all that nice fun stuff, then we hit reality a little bit as it squares up with Pluto. Here's the getting things out of your way so you can be secure. So you can, maybe something comes up out of nowhere and reminds you of something, because it just went over Chiron. I'm not big on asteroids, but that does resonate, wounding, and a lot of people are into it and think about it and is the wounded healer. So, we have a big part of our consciousness of humanity on that. So we do have that in the collective. But moon likes to be in Taurus. It's its second favorite place to be. It may even be like it better than being, in its home of Cancer. It's like in its exaltation. So that's nice. Moon will be, then it'll go, quickly, as it moves through, it'll, after it gets through its square, which is pretty quick, it will move on to making a conjunction with Venus, and then a conjunction with the Sun, which will be nice. And then it'll conjunct Uranus, and then Jupiter. So maybe some earthy type of energy, security. I don't want to say money. It could be money, but it's more security. Maybe, if money makes you feel secure, and good investments, good food. Maybe you get some good coffee, good chocolate, some hedonistic kinds of things as the moon kind of comes floating through here. But you deserve it. We deserve it. we already talked about that. Oh, yeah, we talked about Mercury there. And then the sun also makes now here a sextile over to Saturn. Saturn, we got that feminine Pisces, and then we got the feminine Taurus. So the sun, if I said moon, I'm sorry. Sun sextile to Saturn. So that's nice, so it's going to lighten it up. We can hit with Pluto and didn't get a whole lot with Saturn, but the sun as it moves, on into later on the day, Monday, and then into Tuesday, there it is, perfecting. And then we have the moon, which we'll talk about next week, but I'll just give you the heads up. Then we have our new moon in Taurus. So new moon in Taurus, this is, new moon is when we initiate things. So this is initiating Taurus type things, initiating things to get you more security on some level, to make you feel happier in your domain, in your home, with whatever creature comfort type things that make you happy and secure, to secure others, to ground yourself, maybe being more grounding, maybe gardening. This is a great time of year for gardening. If it's nothing, I think we should always be growing some kind of food. It's maybe a good thing. That might be something to make you feel secure, but at least pretty flowers or something, maybe an air plant, depends on where you're at. Sprouts, you could, everybody anywhere can grow sprouts. And, we need to eat good things like that, learn to put things like that in our diet. So that may be something that we kind of work on. All right, so we'll get back to this. What else was I going to tell you about? A couple of things. Just a quick reminder about how this whole energy works. You see the planets are moving, when we look at this kind of a wheel, they move in a clockwise fashion. They move this way, clockwise through the day. This is sunrise, this is noon up at the top, this is sunset over here. And you can see that to be true. Look at 6:47, the sunset's what, about 7 something now? So if I go by hours, we'll see exactly what time the sun sets. Let's just watch the sun. Here's an hour later. It's, I should probably go minutes now. It's going to dive below the horizon. There we go. Boop, boop, boop. 7:57, 7:56, 7:57. It dips down. Boop. Right at 7:57, almost 8 o'clock now. And then it everything is setting over here. Now this is, let me just real quick, this, you've noticed that there's kind of two motions. The planets, like when I do it like this, they go clockwise, but then when I do it fast and you see them go by the day, they go backwards. They go counterclockwise through the signs. Because they're going like, here's natural Aries, natural Taurus, so this is like a counterclockwise. But there's two motions, remember, I'll leave you with this. There's the daily motion, the primary motion. The primary motion is the day-night cycle, right? The Earth is revolving on its axis. It's bowing toward the sun, and it's doing that, parts of the planet are becoming lit and other parts are getting dark constantly, and that's the primary motion. Let me go back over here to let's just go days. And then as the planets move through the signs, here's where they look at the moon. See, it's going counterclockwise. Isn't that weird? But it's going forward through the signs. See that? That's the secondary motion. And then all the planets do that too. That's the orbit around the sun. So that's, the primary motion is day-night. The secondary motion is, the Earth revolving around the sun, and all the planets revolving around the sun. But we're talking about Earth because we're Earth-centered here right now. So those are the two motions, and that explains why that does that. So I thought I'd just say that because it was right there. Okay, I will let you go for now. Thanks for listening. Have a good week. Stay in your heart, and love to you all. Bye for now.